I don't know whether her husband is the father of the boy who is very talented. I think he's going to be in the spelling bee competition for the Bahamas. And that's a good thing.
Most definitely.
Where are the men? Where are the fathers of these boys? Now, that is a problem that the men got to deal with. They don't expect the women to deal with that. So, men out there, we're going to have to fix that to help the women of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas because we are creating a whole lot of problems. Because we are falling down on our job as fathers, as uncles, as parents for our children. We have to do better than that. Now, of course, we've lost many of our young men, too many of them, in fact. I think we have to make some serious changes in our country in order to avoid that from happening. But as long as we keep our men the way they are, we're creating problems for the women. And then we spoke about crime yesterday with the women who were on the show yesterday. And let me say this to the women groups in the Commonwealth of Bahamas. I know I mentioned this on Monday of this week. Or if I did Monday, I did it probably Tuesday. We're going to have an open invitation for women's groups throughout the country to be able to come on the show, either by Zoom or whatever way they want to come on. They don't have to necessarily be in the studio, but we got women in Andros, we got women in Cat Island, we have women in Anagua. We want to hear from the women in those places. We don't want you to stay isolated. All this technology we got around here, which connects us to each other, and we're not using it effectively in disseminating information that is important. Yesterday we had a good show because those women who were here, they let their views be made known. And I was very delighted to hear from a woman's perspective in regarding the men. Because sometimes you have to see it from the perspective of the women. How is it affecting them, which create problems for the women and the girls and the children? We shouldn't be that way. Not in a Christian nation where we go to church on Saturday and Sunday and we worship God. Now, we shouldn't have these problems. What are we doing with all these problems? The men of the society ought to be following Christian values, helping our mothers, helping our fathers, helping our wives, our nieces, our children, our grandchildren. Men have a role to play in moving this criminal activity away because I understand the men are perpetrating these crimes against the women. You're creating problems with the women. I remember seeing one woman on Frederick Street going to the bus. She had several children with her. They were little children. But I see no daddy with her. Where was father? Or fathers, if any. We have to help the women to be able to deal with these issues in rearing our children. That is a major problem, the women said yesterday. We as men are causing that. So we got to stop this foolishness and this nonsense. We have to get our house in order, men, so we can help make the country a better place for the women and the children. Too many crimes have been committed. We had a father who committed some unkind things against two of his infant children, female children. And in my day growing up, we knew nothing about them kind of things. When mommy say or daddy say, go to Aunt Emmy, go to Aunt Joyce, go to Uncle Jimmy, go to this teacher, go to this place or that place, all we had to do was to go there. And there was nothing in our head to ever say that we could not trust these persons who were elders, family members. Where did this crap come from? I've never experienced that behavior from any aunt, from any school teacher, from any principal, from any police officer, from any shopkeeper, from anyone in the community. Never in my life have I had to fear any sexual offenses from my elders, persons who were held responsible for me as I grew up. Never thought about it. We had boys and girls playing together. But now today we have all kinds of distractions with children. We had a conversation about that yesterday, about discipline. The importance of discipline in the lives of our children and in the lives of our parents. What are we going to do about it? And some are now going to say, you don't use corporal punishment. I got plenty of that. Plenty corporal punishment. It didn't kill me. But some people seem to believe it's going to twist your mind and make you get angry and hostile. The carnal mind is enmity against God. Jeremiah 17:9. You got to read your Bible. It is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can be. That's Romans 8:9. So we are born with a carnal mind that is bent to do evil because of Satan, because of the demons that are out there. Because Jesus said, out of the heart of man proceed evil thoughts. Where do you think they came from? Right from the devil. Planted them right in the little child, that little sweet little baby in the crib. I remember when the first time I held my baby brother, mommy just planked him in my arms, said, that's your baby brother. Just come out of the womb. My grandaunt cleaned him up and passed him to mommy, and I was the first person to touch him after my mother. She just planked him on me suddenly and said, that's your baby brother. First time I held a pigeon. I held many others since then. The point is, Bahamians, there are some things that we have to do to save our women, to save our children, to save our nation. We cannot keep going on with all of this foolishness, all kinds of sexual offenses. Police officer committing sexual offense. What kind of crap is that? The police are supposed to be protecting you. The teacher's supposed to be teaching you. Not fooling around with your private parts. Where do you get this foolishness from? There was no indication whatsoever when I was in high school of anything like that. So it had to come from somewhere. So where did it come from? You mean Bahamians do them kind of thing? I always ask them that. Where did Bahamians get that from? Where did they learn that from? When did it start? But now today you hear all kind of funny things happening. Now some people got an idea. You got two daddies. Two males, two daddies. Two females, two mothers. One is daddy, one is mommy. What kind of crap is that? When God says he made the male and female. That's what the man tells me. So now you got some people who supposed to be intelligent, supposed to be educated, while people have a right to their views. I'm not knocking that at all. But there's some things, Bahamians, we cannot accept. Cannot accept. If we're going to be a nation under God, according to the Constitution, we have to get our house in order because we have some real serious problems. I got to stop because, my guest is already here, and I know she's going to have a lot to say. Welcome, Alicia Hart, to Express Yourself on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an awesome day to be alive. And
yes,
it's
ma'am.
An awesome day to be female and on your behalf to be male in the Bahamas.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I'm looking forward to all the activities, and we've already started. We had a wonderful forum at UB on Thursday as well.
Yes, ma'am.
We're looking forward to what's coming up on Saturday. There is the march that's coming up.
Yes.
So all women are invited to come on out and to show their support because the country needs a lot of prayers.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, we do. And even though for women in this country, we've accomplished much, there's still much to be done. We know that our families, it's the bedrock of development nationally. Without firm, I would dare say healthy families, nationally we can't grow.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's incumbent upon male and females to invest, or they definitely can invest in the development of the family.
Yes.
So holistically, we need strong children, and to have strong children, we need healthy fathers and healthy mothers who are participating in the lives of our children to ensure that they get all that they need. Nationally, we need more focus on our children.
Yes, ma'am.
There's no reason why, in this economic climate, why children can't be afforded the best there is to be offered. That's education from preschool directly into university. There's no reason why. There are a number of countries around the world who do that. There's no reason why children can't be given meals as are required.
Yes, ma'am.
That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's no reason why children can't be afforded clothing allowances. See, we need to look beyond what we have presently,
Yes.
and we need to identify where there are challenges, because there are a number of children who are not faring well nationally.
No, they're not.
So we need to implement, and social services, God bless social services.
Yes,
However,
ma'am.
it needs improvement.
Yes.
And I would dare go backwards. If you are given $80 to supply yourself and your family, how does that help a growing, thriving child?
Yes.
You know, a parent can't really do much with $80 nationally. I would dare say for the past 5 years, you definitely need, per month, you need at least $200
Okay.
to supply yourself with grocery.
Yes.
We know that there are many Bahamians who are not there. So we have to see how we can redevelop our social services to ensure that our people are given and supplied their needs. And I'm looking forward to a time and a season where children are afforded the best quality of all things in this country. Because if we don't prioritize our children, then we are not prioritizing our future.
Okay.
So anyone who was vying for leadership nationally, I want you to consider that. How are we focusing on our children nationally? And I'm not talking about giving them something like an off something every other season.
Yes.
That you determine that you can give them something. Oh, the police is having something on the park. We're giving
Right.
them something. Oh, the Ministry of Education determined that they're going to have a breakfast program for a
Breakfast program.
season.
Yes, for a season. Yes.
Not for consistency, not for the
Right.
long haul.
Yes.
All of these things are very seasonal.
Yes, ma'am.
Children don't live seasonal lives.
That is true.
They require medication, they require food, they require shelter, they require care. And if we're not careful, we talk about being a country that is developing. If we're not careful, we are and we will see how we are retarding our progress by
Yes,
not
ma'am.
paying attention to those who are most vulnerable.
Yes.
Our seniors, our children, our boys,
Yes. Oh, yes.
they are
Definitely.
vulnerable
Yes, ma'am.
segment of our communities. So we have to pay attention to ensuring that they develop the way that we need them to develop. Or this is the way I look at it. In 20 years from now, who will ensure that I'm taken care of as a senior
Exactly.
of the
as
nation?
senior. Amen.
Right.
You're right. You're right.
So we need to secure these individuals to ensure
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
they're
Yes.
resilient and
Yes.
their quality in terms of their character,
Yes, ma'am.
and they're interested in ensuring that the seniors are taken care of.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is a great focus nationally. So Women's Day is not something that focus primarily on women, because women hold the family.
Yes, they do.
Yes. So in that one woman, you have a whole family that rests on her shoulders. So
Wow.
by strengthening the woman, you strengthen your nation by strengthening the family.
Yes.
And that's a simple thing. That's a simple way of looking at our society, but it's the right way of looking at our society.
Yes.
There's no other way.
Yes,
We are
ma'am.
to ensure that our families are taken care of.
Let me just say this, because see, I look back my own personal experience. There were 12 pigeons in the house, 9 my mother and father had, plus 3 grandboys.
Yes.
What took my mother and father? See, I still believe that they are still alive today, because I was so close to them. I always saw mommy and daddy every single day of my life.
Wow.
I don't know what it is to be without mommy and daddy until they passed. Mommy and daddy were always there. That's why I tell them all these funny things what I hear these children are going through. I tell them I don't know about them kind of things. aunts, uncles, shopkeeper, police officer, school teacher. You won't say nothing against no principal now. That
No.
was a no-no. Dean of discipline? Come on. There was discipline and order at home. There was discipline and order in the church. There was discipline and order in the school. There was discipline and order in the community.
That's called a structural society.
So, and my father knew, and they had no telephone, before I got home, if I was misbehaving, someone already told them before I got home that I was misbehaving. How did they know that?
Because it's called community. You had a community of persons who are interested in your well-being. And that's the way it should be.
But I think we need to restore that.
Most
Because
definitely.
what we have now, I am so disappointed with the way and I always look at my mother and father, strong examples. And I see some cracks, even in my own family, which need to be mended. And I tell them all the time, I say, Mommy and Daddy, some things, Mommy and Daddy would not tolerate this.
Certainly not.
Because we seem, with my generation and coming down, we seem to have slack in our hand.
Why do you think that is, though?
I'm glad you asked that. Because from what I can see, is that we have allowed some things to get in the way. Because, see, I could not be buddy-buddy with my mother and father. I was always a child to them, as young as I am.
Yes.
I was always their boy. I was always, my sisters was always their girls. And it's not that, Mommy and Daddy didn't respect us even became adults. But I'm simply saying that there was no equal in terms of me taking my mother and father company. Because, see, even when the big people came to the house, we were not allowed to get involved in big people talk. Mommy and Daddy would send you outside, say, go to your room or go elsewhere.
We'll call that proper socialization.
Well, that's what it was. And so today, and then they didn't grumble. They didn't complain about anything they did. The money was always, they used to get lunch money every day. Daddy would put, even if he forgot, he had it all put away and he would go and get it. We used to go to St. Augustine's College in 64 to
You guys are
69.
well off, sound like.
And the thing is, but see, Mommy and Daddy wanted us to have a good education. I passed for two schools, St. John's College and St. Augustine's College.
Okay.
I went to Western Junior,
Oh, wow.
right there on Market Street,
Yes, sir.
which is now, I think, with the high school name.
CB Bethel?
CB Battle, yeah, right there. And then the other side was Western Senior.
Yes, sir.
All I'm simply saying is I saw where they took their responsibility very, very seriously. They never grumbled. They never complained. Now, I can tell you, I was closer to Mommy than Daddy now. Daddy had a hard hand. You going to get... You fed him.
He did the physical discipline.
Oh, yeah, that was, he give you a licking. You want to get a lick again. But the thing is, they were very firm when it came to discipline. They loved us, they cared about us, but they didn't tolerate crap.
Why do you think that is so? Because if you don't love someone, you can just simply allow them to do whatever.
Exactly. But that was not allowed at all. Because we could not say anything against the teacher, because Mommy and Daddy would say, if you were not doing something contrary, that's why you're here today. You would not be in this crap that you're in now if you were not, if you were doing what you ought to be doing.
Very true.
But somehow they got to know, and they had no telephone,
Someone
at
told
least in
them.
those early days. But somehow the word got out. You misbehave, you see an elderly woman sitting on the porch, you pass her and didn't say nothing. That was a problem.
Truly.
And so people need to understand there is decorum, there's respect, there's discipline, there's character. You never ever pass an elderly person without not saying good morning, even if they ain't say nothing to you. When we went to school, we had to say good morning to the teacher, even if the teacher ain't say nothing. And they may just nod their head. But they got to say it to just virtually everybody.
Yes.
But that's how we were, to show respect for a teacher. And a principal, that was even, you could not say anything. A principal? Come on. They were headmasters in those days. That's what they called them, headmasters. And then they changed the term to principal.
Yes.
But the thing is that I have seen a lack of discipline in our children today. And I went to St. Augustine's, I think I graduated in 69, so I went 50 years later. I went to visit the school, and I went in the classroom, and I see all these things on the desk. So I asked somebody, say, what these things are. I say, Professor, they're computers. Every single desk had a computer on it. Well, I say, we don't know nothing about them kind of things. We had books, we had paper, we had exercise books, we had pencils, and we had pens. That's how we studied. So the thing is, even today, with all of this money being invested in education, giving them all kind of equipment, cell phones and all kind of sophisticated material, you mean to tell me today, with all of that available, and teachers supposed to be better trained, better qualified than they were in my day? That's what they're telling me. How come we ain't doing better? When you could have come out of St. Augustine's at 69 and become a manager of a bank. Jeff Lloyd was one of our graduates.
Okay.
And you saw where he went. As a man of discipline. Now, some people didn't like him, but he stood for discipline. That's how he and I were taught at St. Augustine's College. Those monks at St. Augustine didn't play, you know. You either bend or you break.
I think too that back in those days, as it needs to be in this day, there was emphasis placed on character
Character, yes.
and character development. And that is necessary nationally to identify that we want students who can think critically,
Yes.
students who have respect for their environment and themselves and their families and other humans,
Yes.
students who could simply have empathy, because we see that as lacking as
Yes, ma'am.
as we look at the many accidents on the streets.
Oh, yeah, too many.
You
Too many.
just simply give allowances to others, and it's that simple. Let someone else who let someone out, or
Yes.
these simple things to develop our character, that is necessary.
Yes,
When
ma'am.
someone does well, you congratulate them.
Of course you do.
Yes. When someone is not doing well, you support them,
Exactly.
because you can't see people as trash
No, ma'am.
to be thrown away.
No.
Someone who has an addiction, you support them
Yes,
best
ma'am.
as you can.
Yes.
There needs to be institutions where persons can go and where their mental health is not performing the way it should. That there is no stigma in society, because back in the day we had persons who had challenges.
Of course they did.
It was addressed either in church or family.
Or family, yes.
Yes. So we have to take it to another level. We need institutions now, institutions that would support healthy lifestyle, healthy living, institutions that will support persons who are different minded.
Yes,
That's the
ma'am.
way we should refer to them.
Yes.
Yes.
Ma'am.
Or persons who are disabled. Institutions are necessary for them as well. We have to build a country of institutions.
Yes, ma'am.
And it has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with religion.
That's true.
It has to do with supporting the best in our society,
Yes.
and identifying that there are some things that we don't want. So we have to curb that
Yes, ma'am.
by implementing strategies to
yes.
cause change.
To cause change.
And we must do so quickly.
No, we have to move very quickly
because the
on this.
consequences are dire.
Very dire.
Yes.
That is quite right.
We have to move swiftly to ensure that our people grow
Yes, ma'am.
and we sustain ourselves and we eat properly.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
we got to eat properly.
Yes, for women, the cost of living is very expensive.
Do you know the value of the coconut, the Bahamian coconut? I just eat plenty of that,
So do I.
Every nutrition is in that coconut, and God has so designed the coconut
Yes.
that it has that hard casing on the outside and it got that hard shell on the inside. I
Most
got some, I was
definitely.
barking some today.
Oh, you were? You must be like me. I have a coconut a day. People say have an apple a day. I have some in the bag right now.
The coconut is naturally grown in this country. We got
Yes.
all kind of coconut all over the place, and we fooling around with them other people things.
Yes, and
And
guess
it's right
what?
in the yard.
The coconut is the closest thing to mother's milk
Yes, ma'am.
nutritionally. So it's basically almost a perfect food.
Yes,
The
it
mother's
is.
milk is perfect food. The coconut is the closest to it.
So what I do is I use a lot of it because you see, sometimes you may not have the money to get some other things you'd like to get. But then the coconut is always there.
Always
Can't
available.
go nowhere.
And it's not expensive because
It's
you could
not
ask a
expensive.
neighbor for some.
Yes.
Most
But
definitely.
everybody can have a coconut tree in their yard.
Yes, it's easy to grow.
Easy to grow. And it
Yes,
take care of itself.
it does. You have to do nothing
Nothing.
with it.
Nothing with it at all.
You don't even
And
have to
it
water
just,
it.
you ain't got to water it. Just
no,
reproduce
it just
itself.
grows.
Just grows and reproduce and reproduce and reproduce. And all you do is just pick it. Then when it's so full, it drop right off the tree.
Very
Say,
true.
come and pick me up.
I hope mothers
Use
are
me.
listening. So
And
it's
see-
wonderful to feed your children with. It's a
it's
nut that's
good-
free,
it is-
almost.
It's free and it's right in your yard.
Or your
Come
neighbor's
on, man.
yard.
Or your neighbor's
or your
yard.
cousin's yard.
Or your cousin's yard.
Yes, you can get a few of those, most
Of course.
definitely.
And then plant them right in your yard.
Yes, just let one sit on the ground.
Yes.
Let it sit there for a few months and you'll have a coconut
You
tree.
have a coconut tree? Yes.
Yes, with
You see?
ease.
So what I'm saying is there are things that we have right at our fingertips.
Yes.
Somebody tell me about the plants. The thing is that we need to know these things. What was it that our forefathers and mothers were using that kept them strong and healthy?
And living long.
And living long. Yeah, I
Without
want to live long like
diseases.
them.
Yes.
Without these diseases, we got all kind of disease in our country today. Diabetes is one main disease.
yes,
And some
high
other
blood
diseases,
pressure.
high blood pressure, yeah, that's another thing. Every time when I go to my doctor, they always check your blood pressure.
Yes.
Okay? Because high
Arthritis
blood
is a
pressure
big
is
deal
serious.
in the Bahamas
Arthritis,
as well.
yes,
we have
it
heart
is.
disease.
Yes, heart disease
We had kidney failures.
and cancer.
Yes, so many diseases are upon us.
So how is it then that we are not utilizing these natural things we have in our country?
Maybe we got too sophisticated.
Maybe we did. But the sophistication ain't helping us.
No, it's not.
It is not giving us the kind of strength that we need to be able to have a healthy life, because I won't be here till the man come back. I can't speak for them other people.
Yes, I have a grandmother on Kid Island. Her name is Monica Hart. We call her
Yes.
Dada.
Dada, yeah.
She's 95 years
oh,
old.
well, tell her I got to reach 100 and be tell her don't go nowhere.
No, she's not going anywhere.
Yes.
But I mentioned a name to say this. She believed in bush.
Yes.
She believed in natural remedies.
Yes, ma'am.
So as you were saying, the native cultural aspect of our society needs to be embedded in our children so that they could know that any fruit-bearing tree in the Bahamas is a wonderful source for tea.
Yes, it is.
Yes, and
It
that
is.
tea will help you in
Yes,
the
it
long
would.
run
Yes.
to ensure that you live well and that your cognitive development surpass most, because you spoke to coconuts, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Coconuts does wonderful for your cognitive development. It
Yes,
keeps you
ma'am.
smart.
Yes.
People don't realize that. Look it up. Google it. All of the information is right there
I'm
for
glad
you.
you said that. I'm
Yes.
delighted to hear that.
It's ensure that you have no mental diseases.
Oh, I could wait with that.
You know, the remedy for many mental diseases is simple. You
Yes.
have a teaspoon or two of coconut oil.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, keep your mind healthy.
Keep your mind healthy.
Yes.
Yes. That's
Most
quite
definitely, we need that.
Right.
But we have to empower our people with our cultural strength.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's a part of great development.
Yes.
Because if we refuse to look back and not know what happened in the past,
We have to know.
we will have much stress in the future,
Yeah.
as
and
we are having presently.
We're having right now. There's
Yes.
too much stress on people. And the
Yes.
Constitution is against that, you know.
No, we are
No
not
man,
supposed to have
woman,
any
or child.
stress.
Shall ever have their lives frustrated by deprivation.
Yes, I know you love to repeat that.
Well,
yes.
that's what I read in my Constitution.
It's right there for everyone.
Right there for everyone to see.
Most definitely.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
But I'm so proud of the women who've
Oh,
been
yeah. Oh,
strong,
Listen.
who've encouraged us.
I wouldn't be able to sit in front of these microphones. I tell the people this all the time. Were it not for women in the background,
Yes.
real Bahamian women who assist me in so many different ways.
They
help
educated you,
me.
they loved you, they
Yes, they
fed you, they
do.
nurtured you.
Yes.
I know.
I mean,
Yes.
I got to tell these men, y'all got to stop doing foolishness, man.
And help the women.
Were it not for the
Yes.
women, I wouldn't even be behind these microphones.
So true.
Okay? They do a lot of work in the background to keep Professor on the air.
Yes,
And I tell people that all the time. You think I'm just here by myself, but you stay right there.
definitely
It
not.
can't work that way.
You're standing on the shoulders of thousands of women.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
The women
And
really
so
have
am
a
I.
role to play. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And the thing is this, right? I look back at the suffrage movement
Yes, ma'am.
and when women received the vote in November 26, 1962, I would dare say that's almost 62 years to date. And had it not been for those women coming together, pooling their resources,
Oh,
having little
yes.
cookouts, ensuring that the men were there, they fed them, make sure they had their fever grass tea,
Oh,
and they had
yes.
that sauce that was really
Oh,
good.
they know how to make sauce now.
Most definitely.
Boy, they
They
know
were
how to make
there.
sauce.
They were
Praise the
there.
Lord.
Yes. And guess what that did? That created community, ensured that
Yes, it did.
everyone had that fighting spirit to
Yes,
cause
ma'am.
change.
The cause change.
We can learn a lot from the past
No,
to
we
ensure
can.
that the change
We can.
comes for the future.
This is why I said to them, what happened in 67?
Yes.
The women and the men, and see, even the young people were involved in change in 1973.
Ain't that something?
Because the thing is, for the first time, 18-year-olds were allowed to vote in the September 1972 general election. September the 19th. That's one day after my birthday.
Wow.
And I remember that as clear. Google ain't got that. You check Google, they ain't got that in there.
No, tell
No,
us
they
all
don't.
about it. I know your mind is percolating.
But the thing is that we had the green paper,
Yes,
we had the white paper.
indeed.
There was all kind of discussion. The church was involved. The parents were involved. The community was involved. I saw people pulling together like never before
Something, eh?
because they wanted something to happen. It happened in 67. It
Mhm.
happened in 73.
Certainly.
Now, there were some, of course, who had some other ideas. That's fine. But the majority of the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas wanted to move from being a colony to become a nation. And yet you got some
Yes.
people talking foolishness about we ain't no nation.
We
And we
are.
had, see, I get offended when people talk about some people put something together, pasted it together and gave it to us. My mother and father worked hard. My grandfather, Reverend Charles Henry Thompson, founded Transfiguration Baptist Church. A man so polished in English, well-educated grandfather. And only because of the pigmentation of his skin, he couldn't be a priest in the Anglican Church in those days.
That's something, huh?
He know how to play the organ. He know how to play the piano. But he was not allowed to be a priest.
And look how
Not because
far
he
we've
didn't
come.
qualify,
Yes.
but because of the fact of the pigmentation of his skin. Now we got to stop this foolishness. My mother graduated from the Bahamas General Hospital in 1943
Wow.
after having gone through a 4-year course in 3 years. And she wanted to be a doctor. She worked with Dr. Rassin,
Okay.
who founded Rassin Hospital,
Yes.
which is now Doctor's
Hospital.
Hospital. And because of the pigmentation of her skin, the government of the day didn't allow her to be a doctor or go to be a doctor. She had to come out of school at the age of 14. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do people understand how serious those days were? My father had to come out at the age of 14. But I can tell you one thing, what they couldn't do away with. They couldn't do away with people like my mother, who was in the nursing profession, and couldn't do with people like my daddy, who was in BEC. They needed the light on.
Yes.
So they couldn't discriminate against them the way they did with many other black families in this country. You know, my mother couldn't even give the people a glass or a cup. She had to give them tin can, them milk can, them sweet milk can.
Oh, I remember sweet milk.
Yes, I remember it too. But the point is, it shows you where we see young people today need to understand our history.
Yes.
We
And
got to
then you'll
go
be more
back.
proud.
We got to go back and dig it up
Yes.
and get them to understand what went down. Because I was right there. I came in on the tail end of this wicked system that was against us. My mother and father went through the full fury of the UBP.
What a
My
time.
grandfather went through, well, he was a generation above them. He went through the full fury of it, but yet he was very successful.
Yes. And guess what? The times back then, it was so hard.
It was hard,
It was
yes.
difficult, very difficult years. And I think that our history books need to reflect that more
They do.
so that there is an understanding that nothing was easy that we have
Nothing was
presently.
easy what we have today.
But
'Cause
what we have to do is work harder to ensure that we improve on that which was given. I won't say given, that which was fought for.
What was yeah, that was fought for. And some people talking foolishness around here about who gave us independence.
No.
Give me a break, man.
It was fought for.
If our mothers and fathers didn't fight for that and gave us that document what we have today, praise the Lord, where would we be?
Nowhere. So we have to give homage to women like
Oh, yeah.
Mary Ingram,
Mary Ingram, yes.
Mabel Walker,
Yes.
Simonette. Then we had Lorcard, we had Doris Johnson.
Dr. Doris Johnson.
Yes, the women who actually struggled and
Yes.
fought for the rights that we enjoy presently.
And we still got the woman who was the first one to register to vote. She still is alive today.
Most definitely she is.
You see what I'm saying?
Ruby Ann Darling.
Ruby Ann Darling, yes.
Yes.
And so the thing is, we got to understand.
I think she's pastor now, huh?
I think she might be, yeah.
Yes.
She might be.
Yes.
But she's still her same self. I know how she was in her younger days, and she's still that same way. That God-fearing woman.
Progressive.
Huh?
A
And she
thinker.
has not changed. Even though God has brought her a mighty long way, she is still humble. Just like Mother Pratt,
Yes.
Governor General. Humble people.
Most definitely.
And God raised them up. And they have not changed one iota in the way they were as far as their character is concerned. They didn't get pig-headed and think they were better than their own people.
No.
You don't see that in Ruby Ann Darling. You don't see that in Mother Pratt, our Governor General.
No.
Okay? So there were some who kept their feet on the ground,
Most definitely.
knew that God was working through them for the betterment of this country.
We need more like them,
But that's why we have to.
We have
that's
to
why,
mentor our
That's
people.
why the women said yesterday. And I was happy to have it from a perspective of the women, because they need to tell some men some things. And you had Miss Ali McIntosh was there.
Oh, wonderful.
And she laid it on the line, her and Veronica Owens. Praise the Lord. And I did not understand the perspective they were looking at. We got to play that tape again. Because she said some things that caused me to say, oh, that's how it is. But more women have to say it. More women have to come to the forefront. We
Yes.
need more women in the House of Assembly. Now, you got some there right now. But then, of course, Ali McIntosh said we got to speak the truth. You don't let those men who are there tell you what to say. You are an equal parliamentarian just like any one of them.
True.
You're not under nobody.
No.
You represent a particular constituency, and you have a right to speak for those constituents in that particular constituency.
Children, mothers,
Yes.
boys,
Yes.
girls.
Yes,
Yes.
that's important. That's very important. I had the music, my producer, he telling me I need to shut up. That's how I just do it, He needs to be very nice to me. Then you just keep bringing it up, say, now, you need to get out of the way. This is Professor Sidney McArdle, Walter Thompson. See, when I talk, I just go right talk till Christ come back. Don't mind me, Miss Hart. Don't mind me, because I'll talk till the man come back. That's that's how I am. This is Professor Sidney McArdle, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. The lines are open, 326-0271, 326-0272, 813027. We're talking about women's issues today. I can invite the women out there to please call in so we could get some more women lined up for next week, because this is Women's Month in the Commonwealth of Bahamas. This is Professor Sidney McArdle, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
Whether you're shopping for Mother's Day, Father's Day, back to school, or any occasion for that matter, you are sure to find exactly what you're looking for at the Brass and Leather Shops. Great products like handbags, wallets, backpacks, luggage, belts, shoes, and more are awaiting you. Brand names at the best quality and reasonable prices. Land, Rioni, Kipling, Guess, Travel Light, Herschel, and more. Shop any of our locations. Downtown Charlotte Street, Mall at Marathon, and also the luggage store at Palmdale. Be sure to shop Brass and Leather Shops. You'll be glad you did. Bahamian feel-good food in the right atmosphere. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whichever you choose. It's the Cricket Club Restaurant at Haynes Point, West Bay Street. The food is off the chain. Bahamian breakfast. We talking stew cow, stew fish, and sheep tongue sauce. And for lunch, crab soup, okra soup, and pea soup and dumpling. Man! And for dinner, they got mahi seafood platter or steak and shrimp. Only $28.95 per person. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner at the Cricket Club Restaurant. Call 326-4720 for reservations. Oh, and don't forget, there's a live band, The Magic Touch, every Friday night. Say, Shoe Depot has what you and your wallet need. They are stuffed with stylish and exciting footwear, handbags, wallets, and accessories for all occasions. Shoes for the professional, casual, cute and glitzy, skid resistant, and ultra comfortable for those long work days. Shoe Depot has got you. Oh, and be sure to join our Shoe Depot Rewards Club for extra savings and earn points for special benefits. Visit either of our two locations, Golden Gate Plaza or the Palmdale Plaza. At Shoe Depot, you'll find the best selection of the best styles and at the best prices.
At Audio Plus, we carry a large selection of DJ and audio products like speakers, mixers, microphones, car audio players, and much more. You can also find a wide selection of musical instruments like marching drums, Junkanoo drums in a wide variety of colors, trumpets, clarinets, trombones, Yamaha keyboards, and Fender guitars at special low prices. Visit Audio Plus on Soldier Road, located in the Caries Plaza. Open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Phone number 394-6668. Audio Plus, your #1 music store.
I Dream of Sugar, your happy hour spot, where every day is a celebration. Big Mood Mondays, $1 wings, beer buckets, and BOGO cocktails. Tipsy Taco Tuesdays, tacos and $10 margaritas. Wine Up Wednesdays, carnival vibes with specialty cocktails. Throwdown Thursdays, $1 wings, beer buckets, and BOGO drinks. Flirty Fridays, sip $10 sex on the beach, and more. Social Saturdays, 3 for 2 drinks and platters discounted. Sunday Fun Day, unwind with $1 wings and unbeatable specials. So what are you waiting for? Head over to Sugar Rush Lounge at Bay and Market Street, just across from the Straw Market, where every day is a reason to celebrate. Sugar Rush Lounge. Call 603-2792.
From South Beach to Bay Street,
I'm pleased, I really dig your company.
it's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Yeah, let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. We have two more of my guests in the studio today. This is a roundtable discussion, but of course, we're concentrating on women's issues, and we have Alicia Hart. She has a lot to say about women's issues, and I am going to tell you, Bahamians, we've got to help our women. We cannot have this violence against women, children being molested by their fathers. You know nothing about them funny things when we were children. Where did this foolishness come from? We need our men to pull their socks up. We've got to work to strengthen our women, and we need more women in the House of Assembly. That is what Miss Ali McIntosh told us yesterday, to put that touch that is vital and necessary. Because it look like the men ain't got that. They ain't checking for the women. The legislative part, and Brother Cartwright, I want you to speak to that. The legislation is essential because there must be severe punishment for this kind of crime that's being committed against women. The men ain't feeling it like other women are feeling it. Let's bring Brother Cartwright on. Brother Cartwright, you came in, and then we're going to have Brother Hyler, then we'll get back to Ms. Hart. Go ahead, Brother Cartwright.
Okay, good afternoon.
And I want you to speak to that issue we were discussing when we were.
Good afternoon, fellow guests and producer. As we were speaking off air, and I came across the idea that I always tell people that when I come in contact, the word urban. And I always said to them, growing up, we never know the community as urban. We know it as a community. And when you look at the community as a whole, The word urban is like it's a more derogatory, like a sector where only the bad live
Okay.
or the rejects live. Because you would hear people say, I will not ride through certain areas because that's urban.
Yes.
So it's the negative attachment to it. But what I've noticed too, and since this being a Women's Month, when you look at a lot of the legislations or the input into the parliament and everything else around us, we would always look at other countries and big up their women. But when it comes to our women, we automatically reject them in any form of fashion when it comes to whether being in parliament or being an executive and stuff. And then no one stands up and say, you know what? Well, is she qualified? If she's qualified, why don't she get the job?
Yes.
No one stands and back for her. So I even have women who tell you, I can vote for no woman as prime minister. But then they would praise Ms. Harris in the United States. Oh, but that's it. Well, they don't like black women. That's like you more focus on something that is out of your realm.
Out of our realm, yes.
But you wouldn't demand for it here in your country. So
in your
it's like,
country. Wow.
how hypocritical can you be? And, you know, I've heard people always used to tell me, well, you know, a fellow growing up in a single parent home, the only mother, oh, he can be a bad boy. And I was telling them, no. In life, we all choose the path we want to go down.
Yeah.
Now, it would be better, it would be much easier for the mother to manage the household if her maid is there with her,
right,
to bring balance to the clarity. And so I always tell you, a woman cannot train a male child to become a man. She can point things out to him. And I know women will be mad when I say this, but I'm tired of hearing women telling young male children, your daddy is no good.
yes,
Yeah, and I said, you know, you did not conceive, because the last woman I know conceived was Mary. I
Yes.
think it had to take two people to produce a child. And I always say,
Exactly.
listen, children know when they get good treatment. So as a mother, you do your best. I know it's going to be hard, but you do your best. And if that male partner of yours walk away or abandon, children will know, because they'll say, you know something? When I was going through hard times, my mother was there. And
Yes.
they
Yes.
don't forget.
yeah, they don't.
And I always tell people to, like, even when we look at our penalties, you know, we were talking about that yesterday, Professor, but
Yes, we
the
did.
gentleman who molested his kids. And I
The
was
two
like,
kids, yeah.
what happened to the women in Parliament who did not raise the issue with their colleagues and say, you know what? Those penalties are archaic.
They are
Men
kids,
are
yes.
ours.
Yes. And we support, and get up and say, you know what? This ain't about us as a party. This is us as a people.
Yes,
We need to change some of these laws.
that's right.
And you fight for it.
Amen.
You don't sit down and then when the government change, whatever, then you say, oh, well, you all didn't do it.
Right.
But you have a cadre of women in your grouping now. Stand up and fight.
Lobby.
And then you would have more parties start to think, say, you know what? And women got to realize sometimes your strength is in numbers.
Yes.
You can't say, well, oh, what I'm going to do this, I'm going to support that. But then when the time comes, you don't even demand, listen, you know what? We had 20 male candidates for this community or this constituency, and they let us down.
That's
I
right.
think you all need to give us a female. They don't fight for it. And I always tell people, it's like someone said to me,
Do we know how to fight? I
I think-
oftentimes wonder about that.
Yeah, that's
I
a good
think they
question.
do, you know, but the problem is that women are more, like Ms. McIntosh say, believe in order.
Yes.
So one, she has to think about a job to provide for the family because she's a single parent.
Yes.
Two, she got to look after the kids.
Yes.
Three, she got to feed them. So
Right.
when she looks at politics, that is an adage that will take away from the home.
Yes, she said.
Women love to protect their home. Men will say, "Oh, I'm not worried about that, man. They'll take care of themselves." You know, I don't want to buy the chicken or chicken in the bar. That's it. You know,
But they
women
do
care-
behave just like that.
but women worry more about their health
They're the children.
and the livelihood of their children.
Oh,
So
yes, they do, yeah.
you always got to. So when they look at the balance, they're like, you know what, man, I don't want to take that job on because, and then you have some women who embracing that idea or want to be in parliament.
Yes.
But then I always say to them, do you want to be in Parliament for fame, or do you want to be in Parliament to bring a change?
Yeah, bring change. Yeah.
I think we got a caller here.
Yeah, okay. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon to all your guests.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Professor,
you.
we did the Woman Week. I need one of them woman like Esther, man. I remember hard from the I ain't call out a show name. It's hard I need you because listen here, the men them and the pastors them, they can't stop these people from legalizing drugs in the Bahamas. I need a woman to be like Esther. Go up there, grab Miles Monroe book with the life with the lion on it, the leadership spirit.
Yeah.
And I got the chapters to go with it. Miss Hart, you listening?
I'm listening.
Okay. That book with Miles Monroe, right? With the heart of leadership. I got Proverbs chapter 27. I got Matthew chapter 9 and 26. And I had another one, but I forgot about it. So, Mahat, just grab them two books, grab them two chapters with that book, and go up there and ask these leaders, what are you all doing with? I did Matthew, right? Matthew chapter 9. Be like sheepy going around with a lot of things. I need an Esther because the Christian Council ain't doing it. The pastors them ain't doing it. I need an Esther, man. We can't legalize dangerous drugs in the Christian nation. Besides, you think you can take that on?
Most definitely.
Okay. And one more thing I got to say. I follow you. I know you glad to show how you go. If anybody say gender in that senator, I want you go and yuck them out and you take that position. That's my personal view. Y'all have a blessed day.
Oh, caller, you something else.
We hear you. We hear you loud and
Hear you
strong.
loud and clear.
Caller, we don't believe in violence. But you have a point.
And he has a valid point. He has a valid point. I think I understand what he's trying to say. It's the way he's expressing himself.
Yes.
So we know what he means. But the thing is that we have to have some serious changes in this country. It cannot be. And I was so delighted with those women who were on yesterday. They really made some points which we as men need to fully understand that it takes a woman to do it. Because sometimes we get our head clogged and we can't see clearly. But the women understand, the women deal with the children, they deal with these problems. Like you said, Brother Cartwright, the man said, you just get one barrel of Kentucky or something, and he put that on the table, and that's that. But the women look at it differently. They want to feed the children, take care of the children, make sure they have a good night's rest, and be able to be ready for school in the morning. And we as men don't put those kinds of things as priority for our children. So the women are more nurturing. This is what Ali McIntosh said yesterday. Okay? But here's something I'd like to suggest. The constituents in a given constituency could demand that they want a woman.
Once
they
again,
can
we
see-
need to identify how.
But the point is, no, but listen, we got the Constitution to guide us. We have the Holy Bible to guide us. That is the standard on which the nation was founded. What has been happening is that people are so politically polarized. They don't check for no Constitution. You know of any political party in this country has ever mentioned about the Constitution? From the time we've been putting out these booklets and papers and this thing and that thing and the next thing? Even the one who say they want a chance. Not a single word, and I listened to them very carefully, not a single word about the Constitution, not a single word about the Holy Scriptures. So what's guiding us? What is our foundation for building a nation? We have to have something to work with, something solid, something that is strong, something that is vibrant. I always use the example with St. Barnabas Church and BTC. The people at St. Barnabas Church don't ever forget to go to BTC on a Sunday morning, 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. They're in church. But Monday morning, they're right there at BTC. So the thing is that has been so ingrained in them. They don't make no mistake. And it applies to any other church that keeps Sunday, or even Saturday for that matter. There is nothing stopping the constituents in a given constituency from choosing their own.
I think you
candidate.
must join your constituency parties, PLP, FNM, TNA, whomever else.
Let's put it this way.
Not really.
No, you don't have to.
You can make demands without joining an organization.
No, but
No.
but see, that's the problem that is, hold on, Brother Cartwright. That is the problem we've been having in this country. It's because these political parties are polarizing the people. See, choosing a parliamentary representative is one thing, because see, the party has to bring a particular personality to the table to say, y'all go and vote for this particular personality. And the person ain't worth a crap. Okay? There is nothing that is constitutionally wrong with the people in that particular constituency coming together, and as Article 24:1 says, for the protection of their interests. The political parties are not putting candidates up that is interested in the protection of their interests, which simply means the constituents themselves have to find an alternative. I think I can deal with that on Monday. I can let you all talk today.
Yes, as I was saying, Ms. Hart, when you go through the Constitution of the Bahamas, it never mentions a political party. They said the parliament, 39 members. So means that the individuals in these constituencies, which the Constitution requires, must be made up of 39 or more.
38 or more.
So means that anybody in a constituency who the people of that constituency feel want or eligible to represent them and give them good governance, they can put that person name on the ballot, because all they tell you, bring your money, you pay your $400, your name is added on the list as a candidate, and then the people just go to the ballot and they vote.
Vote for you.
It's never been said that it has to be a party.
No, it's not. Never did.
But we have basically bought into this party whereby we said it's party. If you look through this Constitution, it has no word mention of this party is the government. All it said is the government
of the
Bahamas.
Now, I believe in the Constitution, and I have walked out the process of election. So the thing is this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What is our cultural process of identifying persons as political leaders? It's very simple, You can run as an independent.
Yes,
you
can.
walk in, you simply you register to vote, of course,
Yes.
and you pay your funds. You apply. That's the process there. Beyond the independent process, there is another process that we have done culturally successively. We invite persons to go to constituency meetings. We invite persons to register, to be a part of the organization, so that you could cast a vote for someone who you would like to be your political leader. So nationally, we have to address how we elect people, and if we want change, we have to look at it realistically. Many persons may not be interested in voting for someone who's running independent like myself. I would always be an independent runner. So for those persons who would like the traditional route, which is you go to the PLP meeting, you go to the FNM meeting, you go to the coalition meeting, or I don't know if the DNA is running or if they have persons who will be in the electoral process. You go to those meetings and you become a member, and then you have a voice. Now, for that traditional route, it means that as an individual, you have to join these organizations to have a voice. And normally, I know, because I attend community meetings that actually are constituency meetings, you truly don't have a voice, because parties, they bring in their candidate and they say, here, just as if you're a pot cake. We give pot cake anything.
Yeah, they eat anything.
They eat anything. Not
Exactly.
true. But the truth of the matter is they treat the community as pot cakes, where they just throw someone at them and say, this is the one you should vote for.
Okay.
That's
Now-
norm.
No, we got to do something about that. I got to get Brother Hyla in here. I can do about. I can talk about that. I can let you all talk today. I can handle that on Monday. Brother Hyla, go ahead.
Good day, Professor. You sure you want me to comment on that, Professor?
Oh yes, I want you to comment on that. Look, but see what she said is true.
No, it's true. Traditionally.
So we have to stop the crap.
Yeah,
It has not helped this country from its inception.
Professor,
We have to look at the harsh reality. You know how many people have lived and died having had hope in these particular entities?
Mhm. Nothing has changed.
And nothing has changed. Go ahead. Just got worse.
Professor, my fellow guests, good day, Mr. Cartwright. Good day, Ms. Hart. Super producer. I think it's three of him. Must he, he be doing so much and keeping everybody going. Good day, Bahamas. Unfortunately, as you all were speaking, my mind went to civil society, Professor.
Yes, sir.
And the motto of civil society, they have it in Latin on their crest, the voice of the people.
Yes.
I would say recently, last year coming into this year, I joined civil society, formally. And at the same time, I must say that the voice of civil society has been lacking,
Yes.
quiet, very, very weak
Demure.
on very serious matters of national concern.
Okay.
We heard nothing on very, very serious matters, anywhere from BPL, anywhere from being a no-show at union meetings,
Yes.
to violating the rights of the unions by issuing a strike vote, then
Yeah.
turning around and putting an injunction
Yes.
against the people.
Against the people, yes, that's right.
Things like this.
Yes.
The activity of the Attorney General
Oh, that's another kettle of fish.
many areas, from the Nationality Act
Yes.
to blocking the information held by our permanent secretaries. I keep repeating it because I'm not sure if the public understands that there's been a complete shutdown of information in the most secretive government the Bahamas has ever seen. This administration,
Yes.
this particular administration right here,
Yes.
that is in right now, the most secretive. And only when a secret is exposed and comes to the surface,
Yes.
like the mooring deal,
The mooring
that
deal,
we get,
yes.
and then all of a sudden, in hours, we'll stop that. We'll put a stop to that. Professor, you know what else we would be putting a stop to if we really knew what was going on?
Yes.
If the people really had representation, the way Mr. Cartwright had described,
Yes.
Ms. Hart, speaking of going into community meetings and you still don't have a voice,
Yes. That's right.
what kind of society we are living in when laws are being violated by the highest officers in the land and there's no recourse?
We have
There's no action.
hardcore evidence
Mhm.
that that's happening. No ifs, no ands,
Where's
and no buts.
Where's the response? Well, I know you are active legally, Professor. I'm just saying, where is the community response?
That's a good question.
Where's the public response?
Outcry, yes.
Where's the public outcry?
That's right. Yes.
But you mentioned civil society. Is that not the role of civil society to ensure that matters that you mentioned are addressed?
That's correct.
It is the role of civil society.
Are they fulfilling it?
I don't see where they are. There are a few statements that are made, but peculiarly, I say, when the most pressing matters or the matters of greatest concern to the Bahamian people come forward,
Yes.
there's silence.
Have
So
they ever
I-
said anything about citizenship? You
I
had them
don't-
say anything about
Civil
citizenship?
society? No.
Yes.
I haven't heard anything.
Oh, I haven't heard anything either.
I haven't heard anything.
Yes. That is a major issue in this country.
So
What
it-
about
it-
having
it-
women in parliament, ensuring, election is coming up.
Mhm.
Yes.
What is the voice of civil society as relates to ensuring that the certain percentage is of the
It's
female?
a female,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
And internationally, there are agreements.
Yes.
There are
Yeah.
agreements, they have United Nations conventions on the status of women related to their protection, but also their voice. Same thing we're talking about.
Yes,
Their
that's correct.
ability to access leadership,
Leadership,
their
yes.
ability to influence change.
Would it be wonderful if women are actually selected to quote unquote safe seats? The truth of the matter is this: if the percentage we want to increase in parliament, that has to happen.
Right.
There are spaces in this country where, it's safe to say that if you put a PLP in this seat, that person will be elected. If you put an FNM in that seat, that person will be elected. So we have to look at these parties and ensure that they actually address the issues at hand culturally.
Yes. Now let me come from this angle now, Alicia.
But I have a lot to say about that.
See, I go back to the caller now. The caller used the word yuck. Yuck
That's
them
what
out.
he said. Yes, what he said, yeah.
Cartwright said we don't
I mean-
condone violence, and I
No, but we-
approve that message.
We understand
But
what
we
he said.
understand what he
But
meant.
said what he meant. Yeah, that's his
Understand?
way of expressing it.
Understand my point now.
Yeah.
Not everyone is like an Alicia Hart or like an Ali McIntosh.
No, they're not.
Professor, you said some go in there and they simply do the bidding of the male counterpart.
That's
So
correct.
why put a woman there if you just can say what you're saying, sir?
Yes.
And so we have yes men, we have yes
women.
women.
Yes,
now we have
that's
yes
correct.
women.
Yes.
So I will rebut Alicia by saying I don't think we should have safe seats. If
We have safe seats.
we have yes women.
But we have safe
but-
seats.
but if
we have them already.
If they're
There's no
like
denying that.
well, if they're like you, Miss Hart, who is not gonna take no foolishness, then I would feel safe. But I don't feel safe with some of these women
I'm
that
gonna
are
have-
just towing the party
I'm
line.
going to have to interrupt you because my producer is very patient. Today. This is Professor Sidney McArdle, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We're having such an interesting discussion, and I hear the music all the time, in my ears. So ain't that I ain't hearing nothing. I just got to act on it. He playing it? Yes, he's putting it out there. This is Professor Sidney McArdle, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. This is Open Line Friday. Express yourself. We're talking about women's issues. 326-0271, 326-0272, 8130-271. This is Professor Sidney McArdle, Walter Thompson. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
Do you love fresh flowers at low prices? If so, come into Pedal Pusher's Elegant Florist, your event planner. We can't wait to help you with that perfect bouquet or basket for that special person, or book us for your significant life event. We specialize in decorating yachts, weddings, proms, funeral events, and so much more. Create that smile by visiting us on Bay Street, opposite the old Hotel Corona, or call us at 326-2663 and place your order today.
Great news! Ron's Electric Motors' new location on Cowpen Road, right next to Island Luck, is open Saturdays and Sundays. So for those needing repairs on electric motors, generators, welding machines, water pumps, battery chargers, electric lifts, transformers, and power tools, Ron's Cowpen Road location can have you up and running on weekends. Don't forget, you can still visit Ron's Electric Motors on Wolf Road and Claridge Road, and now Ron's new location on Cowpen Road. Dial 356-0249 or 323-5267.
Wise Bohemian shoppers know when times are hard and things are tough, it's more sensible and convenient to shop at YK's Fashion Center. YK's has slashed prices on brand name clothing and shoes by up to 50%, including academics, Clarks, Polo, and 100 of jeans and dicky pants, and as much as 70% on selected items. Choose from a large selection of beds, sheets, rugs, and towels, all at affordable prices. YK's on 3 locations to serve you: Bahama Avenue, Prince Charles, and East Street South near the Charles Hotel. YK's, where you can afford to look good.
It's time to let the world know.
Get ready, Bahamas. It's the 242 sales that you've been waiting for. One day only on the 24th of February, 2025. The deals drop at 2:42 p.m. and end at 5:24 p.m. That's 2 hours and 42 minutes of massive savings. Shop over 24 amazing items, including furniture, appliances, kitchenware, and so much more. Score up to 60% off of your favorite finds right here on Market Street on the 24th of February at 2:42 p.m. Don't miss out. These deals are gone in a flash. Only at Bahamas Liquidation and Auction Center, where we say hello to goodbyes.
From Cable Beats to Montague, it's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Yeah, let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and Global Radio 99.5FM.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney McArdle, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. We're having a very interesting discussion off air, and it's hot in here today. And I like to see when people express their views intelligently and responsibly. That is what we need in this country. But we need to find quality persons to go to the House of Assembly. It cannot be the way it has been for almost 52 years. We have to change behaviors. There's a way to do it, but we need to have specific, clear-cut instructions as to how to go. That's why I mentioned the Holy Bible and the Constitution. Now, let me just say this because I don't want to take up too much of the time. The scriptures tell us plainly when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. That's Proverbs 29 too. When the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. That's what God tells us in His Word. Now, do we have righteous representatives in the House of Assembly? Do we have righteous people in the Senate? Do we have righteous people in the cabinet? Yes or no? Do we have wicked people in the Senate? Do we have wicked people in the House? Do we have wicked people in the cabinet? Do we have wicked people running our civil service? Yes or no, Bahamians? See, God already told you in His Word, wicked people can't help us. All they do is create problems. I have yet been able to answer people to answer me when I ask the question about their constituency. I ask questions about national issues, problems being solved at the national level, problems being solved at the constituency level. Nobody can give me any sensible answer. But people have been living there all their lives. And you mean to tell me you know the heck what's going on in your constituency? Give me a break, man. Let's stop playing games and get right down to the nitty-gritty. Do we have righteous people? Because God says if they are righteous, you're going to get a result. People are going to be rejoicing. Are them people in Baintown rejoicing? Them people in Centerville are rejoicing? Do you see that happening in Fox Hill, where the people sitting in their house and the man right outside taking their yard from them? They sitting up talking about they watching TV. Huh? And don't know the man outside, then they come find out they ain't got no more property. We got to look at these things. Let me stop right there. Brother Cartwright, go ahead, please.
Well, you know, Professor, as we were saying off air,
yes,
I think what Bahamians don't realize that we are more acting like we are a republic more than a constitutional monarchy.
That is true.
Because if you look at it overall, let's look at our voting bloc. There are hardly any constituency where there's a majority of male voters.
That's true.
So women have a lot to do because we've had a woman in charge of immigration. We've had a woman in charge of the airport. We've had a woman in charge of the police force.
Yes.
We've had women as governor generals. But the one thing, and I always say to people, and especially to women, the highest achievement that any woman can have in this society is to basically contest the seat for the prime minister. Because that would now be an achievement that we would basically, you could say, check the box.
We have to get in the house first.
Yeah, but I'm saying, no, I'm just saying, hold on. But don't forget now,
If you get on the battlefield.
the key to it to that also is this, and now, the prime minister is not who you vote on, it's the members of parliament. And this is where I tend to be mischievous because I said, you mean to tell me, out of all the parliamentarians, you don't think none of those women in parliament meet the criteria to become prime minister?
You have to meet the criteria of influence.
And that's why I said there are only two angles that you become prime minister. Either you are the leader of a political party, or you command the respect of your peers in that parliament. And if you notice, we all notice in every one of these political machineries, they will all tell you, we want women.
They're liars. All of them are liars. And I can say it without any doubt.
Oh, no, but that's very unparliamentary now. It's hot.
I don't apologize for it at all.
Untruthful, you head into parliament, so you have to start saying untruth.
No, I will say it as it is. You know what?
You could be the first one in parliament to say, stop your lies.
The nation needs to understand what truth is and what lies are. And the parties, as I see them presently, their commitment is not to having women representation. If it was, there would be more women being, you know what? I have not had any political party come to Alicia Hart and say, would you be interested in my party? Now, I've been out in the vineyard independently for some time. Ask the independent personnel out there. the personalities, as Professor like to say.
Yeah.
Ask them who's approaching them, who's asking them to come in to join my party.
Alicia,
you have to put it as it is.
Miss Hart, ain't nobody coming looking for you. And ain't nobody coming looking for me.
That is why we'll run independent and tell.
See, it's about integrity, it's about effectiveness, it's about results for the Bahamian people. Not in word now, because if you read these vision statements, if you read these mandates, they are so beautifully written.
Yes.
It captures the hope and aspirations of the Bahamian people. And they wholeheartedly give 32 seats to one side or 37 to one side,
yes,
because they believe in what these persons are saying. Yet, years, sometimes 3-4 years into an administration, you would not even see half of what was promised done. And we've demonstrated that right here on the show. So on the one side, people are being deceived. Let's just say it the way it is. And on the other side, what is the criteria for leadership? Is honesty and integrity a part of what we want from our leaders?
No, it's not. I oftentimes say this without any shadow of doubt. And it's this. What we see in the House of Assembly is a mirror of who we are as a people.
Yes.
We're deceptive. We love lies. We have poor character. We like to get a deal that really ain't truly a deal, but we like deals. We like having things under the table. These are some of the things that we have engendered in our characteristic as a people. So we're seeing it throughout the nation. When we see persons who are of leadership, be it in the Royal Bahamas Police Force, be it in the pulpit, be it in education, we see these persons coming out and their character flaws are just flaunted in front of us. That's who we are. That's who we've become.
Let me ask you a question, Ms. Hart. If you're elected to Parliament, if you're elected as the Speaker of the House of Assembly, when it comes to crime or the proceeds of crime and the activity we see in leadership, what's one or two examples of actions you would take to deal with crime and the activities, the questionable activities of high-level leaders in the Bahamas?
Well, firstly, you have to address laws. We have to implement policies. We need laws with teeth.
Yes.
And even beyond having laws with teeth, we need the laws in the books to actually be carried out.
Yes,
we've seen several laws that are tabled. However, we don't see the effect of the laws.
Correct.
Because we don't uphold the standards of the law. So first and foremost, we have to have a review of the laws that we have presently and see how effective they are, because what I'm seeing is law that is simply just not effective as we would like them to be.
There's
so many.
While you're speaking, it comes to my mind, Ms. Hart.
What's that?
The Public Disclosure Act.
Yes.
March 1st of every year, all public officials, the parliamentarians, are supposed to disclose their financial affairs. The commissioner, who is a bishop in the church, you got to be very careful now. The Lord say, touching up my anointed.
Some are not anointed.
Well,
is he anointed by the Lord?
I don't know. I'm running away from the subject. Because I don't know the brother. I only know the principle. The principle is when the media questioned what is going on with the public disclosure, he said that because of mold in the offices, they cannot function properly.
Well, that may be actually true.
No, I'm not saying it's not true now, but how difficult would it be to relocate? So, okay, let's leave March the 1st, 2025 out of the picture.
What about 2024?
What about go back 24, 23, 22, 21? No disclosure is taking place, and our records only go up to 2008, Professor. That's the last time
2008.
We've known
it's in the media.
The public finances of our national leaders.
That's a big drop.
from 2008
You know what
to
has to
now.
happen?
We don't know. So this is what Alicia is speaking to. The law, even when written, is it followed? Is there any teeth to the law?
the law,
And
yeah.
there's a
That's the
sentence,
point.
by the way. There's a sentence. There's is $10,000 fine or 2 years in jail,
So we should be collecting, eh?
collecting or jailing.
I prefer to collect.
Well,
Because
all of
now-
us, because
yeah, I prefer to
who
collect.
can jail the political leaders? You know,
What you mean? Who can jail them?
well, I know Alicia would, but I'm talking about in our present reality, not our future Bahamas.
If you look at the way the parliament is structured, their speaker has authority of the parliament. But you got to look at who becomes the speaker. Because a lot of times you find that the political machinery is, once they get to parliament, they already have their mind made up who they're going to put in that chair. They're the speaker and deputy. And a lot of times you find that persons in that position are persons who are not truly legally trained or understanding fully of the laws. And so what happens is that they become dependent on the voice of the government business to guide them, whereby that they should be independent of the parliament itself. So you see that influence such carries on, like you were talking about with the Public Accounts Commission disclosure. We make laws, but it is just like a paint on a wall. We don't add colors. But I think I hear we got some calls.
We have some calls on the line.
Go ahead,
Caller, you're
caller.
live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
a concerned citizen,
Yes.
and I was in the Princess Margaret Hospital for 3 weeks ago,
Yes, ma'am.
and the hospital is deplorable. My God, it's a dump. I mean, they need to just take garbage and just throw garbage there. I mean, the nurses, they got man nurse, paid more women. The man nurse telling me I must open my leg so he could clean. I'm on between my leg. My God. I don't know what else. What next? Why should they bring this European man nurse and put me on the female number 2 ward? The window was broken. I've been in the hospital 2012 on the female ward, and that window was broken from then, and the window is still broken. My God, they need to do something. Stop spending money free and do something for the Bahamian people. The Bahamian people is like dogs, animals, and their own country. But I pray one day that God give the Bahamian people sense so that see what's happening. They need sense. My God, please just look down on the Bahamian people. Let the Bahamian people to know there's human. Don't mind these MPs come and give you $50 on election time. And in election time, you cannot see the one. But God knows everything. And I hope the people this time be for change. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Did she? Yeah. Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead, next caller.
Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Thompson?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Praise him, Mr. Ida, and to your guests, Ms.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Shady.
Yes.
I happy you brought up the Disclosure Act, Mr. Hyder, because when I was reading the article in the newspaper, the gentleman had said that from 2013, I think, or 11, they had not even been, Poison of wasn't even properly disclosing or disclosing at all. Okay, so this is how far back that practice that they have been cultured themselves to practice. The fact that what I realize is that they beat each other with the same stick. So I heard a clipping of when Brave, where Prime Minister Brave was in opposition, and how he was lambasting ministers about not providing disclosures and being open and not giving people information on reports on how they're spending the money is. and then they come back and they do the same thing.
Same
So it's
thing,
like they
yes.
telling us what they could do because he doing this, and then they come in and they do the same thing that they say they doing that they want them to stop doing.
That's
what it
correct.
go on.
Yes. So based on what I'm hearing from him, that means we have seen the weaknesses by giving a political party a massive landslide of seats. They have the numbers to bring about change in the country if they're serious.
Right.
This has been going on for 52 years as an independent nation. So what are we going to do then? Are we going to keep going down this crap? Because it has gotten worse over the years. I am yet to find out what major national problems have been solved by the government of the Bahamas over that 52 years span.
You know, they create problems.
Well, we have
They
all
good at-
kinds of
they good at
problems.
that.
Now, what about solutions to these problems? Are we going to continue to have a national government running this country that can't solve no problems and spending billions and billions of dollars? Is that what we want?
But you know, right now, like I made a comment, a gentleman made a comment on Facebook to the office of the Prime Minister about the deficit spending,
Yes.
okay, and the travel budget spending. And, you know, the person who was behind the Facebook for the government, the office of the Prime Minister, said that, you know, it's good that government, you know, it's normal for government to run economy from deficit spending. But when you Google that, it'll tell you that, yeah, it does it, but it doesn't benefit for the disadvantage to the citizens because what they do is all the money that they would even have for surplus, they find ways to spend it so you can have a profit turn in the economy. So every time you go in Parliament during the budget, it can always say we in a deficit. It'll never say a surplus because they spending the money.
Yes.
You see, and they understand, and then they borrow, and so that's what I told them at the office of the Prime Minister is that it's easier said is you could say that the government could run a government off of deficit spending because you could go borrow and the debt don't come on you, it come on us,
On the people. Yes.
You see,
That's
so
correct.
it's easy for you to make that excuse versus trying to create a plan to show how you could turn a surplus in the government
We
and
need it.
shell some money to the citizens.
The citizenry, yes.
Yeah.
No, you're quite right. Quite right.
And you know, but but like Mr. Island saying, you said that you know we had to come through a process of someone had to challenge the status quo first, and was able and had to then go through the crucifixion. You know, because you know back in the day when you had the stories about how Penland used to carry on when you challenged the PLP.
Oh,
you know, thank God we kind of let go of some of them Gestapo tactics.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, you know, we recognize that, you know, you have to voice out. I know Alicia said it last week about the fair component in citizens and speaking to that and encouraging citizens that, you know, don't be afraid when you write. Stop giving up your right for someone wrong. And that's what, you know, in the Heaven Brave, Mr. Prime Minister Brave explained to us why he traveled so much and spent so much. He said one of the results of his spending or the fruits of one of his spending is the loan that he got from the Afro Exim Bank.
Yeah.
A loan.
Yeah. All
You
right.
know?
Well, I heard that. I heard that. Yeah. But
that's heart-wrenching.
but there's some things we could do about it. You see, that's the thing. That's what I'm going to try to get the Bahamian people to understand on Monday. There's some things we can do about it. But thank you for your contribution.
Yes, my brothers and sisters.
Okay. All right. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good afternoon, Professor.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. And yourself and Mr. Cartwright?
Yeah, I'm doing quite well. I'm doing quite well today.
Yeah, well, that's good. Listen, Professor, we keep going around this merry-go-round,
Uh-huh.
the term, and we wondering why we still getting the same results. It's impossible for you to have a change when you're doing the exact same thing term after term, Professor.
That is correct.
You know, the lady is there, and she made a comment about women.
Yes.
They don't care. They come in the House of Assembly, and I'm not saying they. I'm talking about the Prime Minister. Each and every one of the past Prime Ministers, they come in there with their agenda, and that is what is being taken care of.
Okay.
The previous caller was just talking about the spending.
Yes.
They will spend and spend until they can't spend no more because why? There's no accountability.
Okay.
And this is why we are in the position that we are in. And I can't understand why we as Bahamians continuously go on this merry-go-round and wonder what happened. The same thing would happen in the past administration. That's what happened.
Yes.
So why don't you just give another administration an opportunity and get off of this merry-go-round?
Caller.
I think it's only time for us to do that.
Caller.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question, and I'm going to say this, right?
Okay.
If you
go
listen
ahead.
to the past administration, right? If you listen to the words that came out of the mouth of the former prime minister, he said that we're going to have term limits. We're going to have fixed date for election. We're going to have more power implemented into the Freedom of Information Act. We were going to now look into see where persons were getting their campaign funding from. All of these things, he had the power, he could have done. So his agenda, he didn't do his own agenda.
Exactly.
So
and they never will.
Yeah. And so when you look at it, and this is one of the things that I'm starting to understand. I noticed that the last speaker of the House was totally different from most speakers we've had in the past.
Yeah.
And I remember, and my mind goes back to 3 speakers in the history of the House of Assembly that I admire. Sir Arlington Butler, Rome Johnson, and the last speaker, which was Thompson Mutri. And the one thing with those 3 speakers had, they understand their role of speaker, and they basically held their ground.
Okay.
When you go to Parliament, Parliament is controlled by the Speaker. And if the government, the person in charge of government business or the person who speaks for the opposition is basically out of line, it is the Speaker's role to show you, listen, you're veering off. But if the Speaker doesn't know, and then you turn around, let's say you vote out this, and the one thing we've been saying, and yesterday, some friends of mine, the Bahamian people don't vote in government. They vote out. So whoever happens to be lucky, as we say in the lottery, you win the government, you win the majority by default. And what has happened is that everyone tells us the same song and dance. And I always say, this is how we need to look at how we address a lot of changes that you want to see. You, whatever constituency you live in, we as individuals got to demand from all of the political machineries, give me the choice that I want, not who you send me. Let me choose, let me see in my community who fits your ideology that I want you to have a look at to represent me. Not you telling me this is my candidate. That is your candidate. That candidate doesn't represent me. That's your candidate. So what we have to start looking at and demanding, because I think Bahamians, we sit back and like my dad always called us, we do piggyback and quarterback after the game over. What should have been done? Here's the thing now that we can start demanding. See, everybody wants to get to Parliament. But when they get in, then when you start to question them, what they tend to do, oh, you hating because you ain't get the chance. And I always say to people, we got to now seriously, whether it's new candidate, new party, old party, we got to now judge all of them, because remember now, when you go to Parliament, it is the 39 members that makes decisions that affect us, not for today, not for tomorrow, but for years. And so if none of our parliamentarians care about their constituency, then they continue making the same mistake, no matter what party we put in there. But we got to now do our own due diligence and scrutinize these candidates. Because remember now, it's our power, it's the power of the electors who gives these parliamentarian powers. And we give them that power because why? All of us cannot be in Parliament to make decisions for our lives. So we trust them to do what is best. And I think what we need to start asking of them, let us see you bring some changes. Look at your constitution, see where changes that you could bring and make amendments, and ask the people. Every 10 years, this is my belief, every 10 years in the history of this country since independence, we should have had a 10-year break pause where we look at our constitution and see how is it working with the lives of our people. And then we look at same policies and we said, okay, this is what let's put this out to the people. Let us get their feel and see if they still like this system or if they like this policy. We don't have this interaction. The only time we have interaction with our parliamentarians is right around 1 year before the election. Then everybody come around. Everybody's your cousin, your family, your uncle, your aunt, and your daddy. And everybody giving you something. And then once they get in that seat, they put on a nice suit, a nice dress, and you go to Parliament. I've seen it because I go to Parliament, and I've seen people come to speak to their parliamentarian, and they tell them, oh, I'm busy. I can talk to you when I come by the constituency office. And you see them when next week they say, oh, I was in a meeting. I couldn't get to speak to you. And sometimes people want to know issues.
Right, Brother Carl, right. Caller, are you still there?
Oh, yeah, I'm still there.
Yeah,
I can
but
wait
now-
till you finish your break.
But
You can be ready till you finish your break.
Go ahead, look at that. That's all I had to say is that's how we got to look at dealing with parliamentarians. We, the people, have to start making demands and hold on to these demands. Do not lose faith and drop off and say, well, I don't trust these parties, so I can put this Australia game a chance. You can't just build a country on just giving a chance.
Okay, all right. We're going to have to go to a break.
I can be ready.
Oh, okay, well, hold on the line then, because I don't know whether we are answering the question that you asked or not. I heard what Brother Cartwright said, and I don't know whether the question is being answered. I don't know what the other hosts, guess the same. We'll come back. This is Professor Sidney McCarter, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this.
Do you love fresh flowers at low prices? If so, come into Petal Pusher's Elegant Florist, your event planner. We can't wait to help you with that perfect bouquet or basket for that special person, or book us for your significant life event. We specialize in decorating yachts, weddings, proms, funeral events, and so much more. Create that smile by visiting us on Bay Street, opposite the old Hotel Corona, or call us at 326-2663 and place your order today.
Bahamian feel-good food in the right atmosphere. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whichever you choose. It's the Cricket Club Restaurant at Haynes Point, West Bay Street. The food is off the chain. Bahamian breakfast. We talking stew cow, stew fish, and sheep tongue sauce. And for lunch, crab soup, okra soup, and pea soup and dumpling. Man! And for dinner, they got mahi seafood platter or steak and shrimp. Only $28.95 per person. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner at the Cricket Club Restaurant. Call 326-4720 for reservations. Oh, and don't forget, there's a live band, The Magic Touch, every Friday night. See
Wise
you
Bahamian
there.
shoppers know when times are hard and things are tough, it's more sensible and convenient to shop at Y-Cares Fashion Center. Y-Cares has slash prices on brand name clothing and shoes by up to 50%, including academics, Clarks, polo, and hundreds of jeans and dicky pants. And as much as 70% on selected items. Choose from a large selection of beds, sheets, rugs, and towels, all at affordable prices. Y-Cares has 3 locations to serve you: Bahama Avenue, Prince Charles, and East Street South near the Sir Charles Hotel. Y-Cares, where you can afford to look good.
Hey, Shoe Depot has what you and your wallet need. They are stuffed with stylish and exciting footwear, handbags, wallets, and accessories for all occasions. Shoes for the professional, casual, cute and glitzy, skid resistant, and ultra comfortable for those long work days. Shoe Depot has got you. Oh, And be sure to join our Shoe Depot Rewards Club for extra savings and earn points for special benefits. Visit either of our 2 locations, Golden Gate Plaza or the Palmdale Plaza. At Shoe Depot, you'll find the best selection of the best styles and at the best prices.
From East Street to Blue Hill Road, it's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Yeah, let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and Global Radio 99.5FM.com. Express yourself.
We're back. This is Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. This is a great day to be in the Commonwealth of Bahamas. We're talking about women's issues today, but we got the caller called, and I think the caller is still on the line. I don't think my guest answered the question that the caller. Caller, would you explain what your question is? Because we seem to have misunderstood something. You said we're going around the mulberry bush.
Mm-hmm.
What is your specific question? Because I was listening to you and I heard what you said. I heard what Brother Cartwright said. I do not believe my guest answered the question. Would you put the question back there, please, on the table?
Professor, the question is, what are we going to do as opposed to giving these consistent criminals authorization to just keep dogging us as Bahamians?
Okay, that's a good question. Now,
because that's basically what they've been doing.
Okay, no, I heard what you said. Now, guess, y'all take that together, because I can handle that on Monday. Y'all go ahead with that. Who want to go first?
Just
Hyla, you want to go first?
Yeah, to honor the women, right? I have to say that while it's not absolutely all women having more justice and more integrity, it's not automatic, right?
Yes.
But this is another case for having more women. Let's look at finances, right? Women have no choice in terms of the single mother homes, whatnot. We have to say most women are generally known to be better with finances than men, just generally speaking, right? And then health. You would see more women in their running outfits and drinking water and everything. When you speak with them, even health, they seem to be more health oriented.
And Mel don't like to go to get doctor.
Listen, we don't want to see no doctor. When
that is the problem.
We know that.
That's a big problem.
So it is it's indicative that women are generally more concerned about health for their children, their families, or whatnot. So definitely they would naturally be more concerned about policy that develops the nation in these areas. Backyard farming and agriculture. Right now, I haven't heard anybody say this, right? The Golden Yoke program has been suspended. All of that pomp and pageantry, money invested, equipment, all this stuff. We have a second crisis with eggs that came up. Now we have a temporary solution. But what about all of that money invested into that program, Professor? You didn't think some woman was going to say, hold on now. Finish the job off.
Now, let's see if we could zero in. We heard the question from the caller. I would like for the team to zero in on exactly what he said. What are we going to do? Brother Cartwright, you want to go, and then we could get Ms. Hart in there.
Caller.
Yeah, Tricky.
Yes. So are you saying that when we move away from right now, this two-party system or these two parties that are in the parliament now, we should just go to a third party, or we should now look at the candidates themselves and analyze them?
Brother Cartwright, I think you're missing the question, man. He already explained what he had to say. The fact that he feels that these two entities have been dogging the Bahamian people. What are we going to do about that? That is what he's saying.
Well, my thing is this. I cannot tell him who to choose or how to.
No.
For me, my philosophy is this, and this is my philosophy. I believe that for us to get good governance, we in the communities, in the constituencies, need to demand better candidates, and we must basically scrutinize it.
Not from these two parties, eh? You can demand better from them for 52 years?
I said we
Give
demand.
me a break, man.
We demand.
Give me a break.
Because I look at
You
it.
can demand something from them after 52 years plus.
I believe that's my
The
belief.
track record. Okay, well, that's fine.
Yes.
That's
We could go to Ms. Hart, right?
No,
But
let's go to Ms.
Mr.
Hart.
Cartwright don't appear to have given up on the two major parties.
But we're not.
No?
No. That is not what I said.
Okay.
I said that the
Look at
candidate,
the
the individuals.
Even if they are part of the two major parties?
Even if you're part of the two major parties,
Yeah.
and if that person doesn't meet the criteria of you
The
as a
party
voter,
has a track record, Brother Cartwright.
you don't have to
My
vote for that
brother,
candidate.
my brother, listen to me. Listen. Could you give me a chance to speak?
Yes.
I heard you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
We have been going around the merry-go-round with the same two parties for the past 51 plus years. Give the next party a chance. Get rid of them. You didn't see how much time they got to keep on dogging you, man.
How many parties we've had in this country?
Listen, I don't care how much we had. I'm looking at where we got to go forward.
Well,
I'm sick and tired.
but all I'm saying to you, caller, it's your choice.
Listen to me, my brother. I'm tired.
It's your choice.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
But it's
They
your
have
choice.
taken us as far as they can take us.
My
And they are
brother.
only interested in their agenda. They could feed you continuously, year after year after year after more years.
So let me ask you this one question because it seems that me basically missing it.
They get
Do
in,
we
the
look?
same thing
Do
is
we
going to
look?
happen, man.
Do we look for a government to take care of us individually or build a
I
country?
ain't doing it at all, man.
That's
We
what I'm
just
asking
need
you.
to get rid of them and let's see what's going to happen. Sad to say, because that's where we at, brother. That's where we at. How
Okay,
you
brother.
I still want them another chance to do what? To finish stomping you?
Let's see if we can get.
Let's let Ms. Hart
Our
respond
caller,
to
stay
that.
on the line.
and
Stay
then
on the line. Don't
we
go
can press
nowhere.
on from there.
Ms. Hart, see if
Well,
you could answer the question.
We're about to wrap up. I know that for sure because time has simply run away.
Yeah.
However, what we need to look at as a nation is standards. What it is that we want. What are our expectations? We know that we're not satisfied with what is.
Yeah.
So the status quo is something we don't want. And we need our representatives who are presently our representatives to understand that
Yes,
on
ma'am.
both sides of the divide. And also for those persons who are interested in running, who are part of the new party, or those persons who will be running independently.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to address issues like the caller spoke to, PMH.
Yes, ma'am.
How do we address health care?
Yes.
How do we ensure that we have a system that respects our people? How do we ensure that education addresses the needs of our nation? What do we want in the next 10 years from those persons who are graduating? So we need candidates, really and truly. We need persons who are able to at least work in areas that we can see that they're interested in our well-being.
Yes, ma'am.
Or we need them to speak as relates to what their visions are for our communities.
Yeah.
We don't need the same again, where we have persons who are coming, oh, we are F&M, we are PLP,
Yes.
we are independent, we are whomever, coming and we simply allow them with landslide
Yes, ma'am.
to actually sit in our parliament
That's right.
and determine our futures.
Yes, ma'am.
So we need to sit up, wake up, and identify new rules in this wonderful game, which is our lives, truly,
Yes, ma'am.
so that we could know where it is we're headed and what it is we want, identify it. If we cannot articulate what it is we want, we're not going to get it.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
nationally, we've not been able to articulate what it is we want. We're talking about what we don't want.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
we know what we don't want. Let us speak to what we want.
What we want.
I want a parliament that addresses health care. We don't need PMH filled with mold. We don't need PMH providing us with pure poor health care. We need a system that addresses our needs.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I heard the minister speaking to this new system of free medication. What we need free medication for? Perhaps we need a government that addresses the high cost of healthcare and
of
the high
healthcare.
cost of food.
And living in general.
Right.
Cost of living.
I think we
Not
need-
only eggs, we cannot live off eggs.
Alone.
As a
And
woman, who knows and have children, we can't just live off eggs.
Yeah, man shall not live by eggs alone.
No.
That's right. But I know, but caller, you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
very much.
I'll make your last point because we have another caller on the line. Do it quickly.
Okay, let me just say this. With all due respect, we cannot continue going with those two parties that has been running our country amok. We have an agenda that's going to move our country in every aspect of life for our future, for our generations to come. We already see what these past two administrations is all about. There's no need to even discuss them anymore. I don't care what they got to say, because all they're doing is promising you, and you get nothing at the end of the day. If you don't open your eyes, we as Bahamians need to move on from both the red and the yellow, and let's move on to the black. Now listen, you know who I'm referring to? They shall remain nameless at this very present time, but I'm telling you, I am declaring, we all know what happened in 92. Whoop, head is upside your head one more time. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we're going to get rid of both of them. I declare that.
Okay.
Now, I don't need to say nothing else.
Okay.
I'm done, Professor. I thank you for allowing me all of this time, but trust me, we need to just move on from both of those parties. Simple and plain.
Thank you for your contribution. Do we have another caller?
Yes.
Oh, but let's get him in quickly. Oh, sorry about that. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Mr. Thompson, I just want to call back because Assad said something interesting, you know.
Yes.
I think we as linked people, we are very critical in terms of analyzing people. We know that the people that are in power aren't. We've given two parties, and I think this is where people are I think this is where I'm kind of feeling a little confused with tricky answer, because we don't want FNM or PLP, but then you trying to make it seem like if you as a good person go on the FNM or PLP, we should consider. But the problem is no longer the individual when it comes to PLP and FNM. It's the culture of the party. It's what's entrenched in the mindset and who is leading the party. Okay. If the person with the change ain't leading the party, then the PLP and FNM will always be the same regardless of how good you come in there trying to be, because the head is what has the final say. And then in my conclusion is the fact that we are critical and analytical to the fact that what we know, what we want, we too have to put ourselves forward and then present ourselves so we could be the change and the light in the darkness.
Thank you for your contribution. Yes, I believe you have another call on the line. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson, all your
Yes, sir.
Christian names.
Yes, sir.
And to your panelists, your guests, the lady
Yes.
is very articulate.
Yes.
That sound like my daddy child. That's what it sounds like.
Absolutely,
But,
Jaden.
I often hear you say, MacArthur, that we must, when these candidates come, we must analyze, scrutinize, and ask them the very, very pertinent question
Yes.
with reference to Constitution.
Yes, I said that.
I've
yes.
looked at all of the parties over the 52 years, how much weeks and how much days,
Uh-huh.
and I see much or more of the same.
Okay.
I took a close look at the COI, and I almost threw in my towel because I was saying, man, I see more of the same. Until I analyzed a little closer, and there is one difference the Bahamian people
Okay.
and don't get and are not getting, is that for the first time in the history of our politics in this country,
Okay.
a true Bahamian man is vying for the position of Prime Minister.
Wait a
That's all I
minute.
need
Hold
to
on.
know.
Hold on. What are you saying? We don't vote for the Prime Minister. You vote
We
for a
don't.
representative of your given constituency. That is what
we
the
don't.
Constitution says.
I agree, but I'm looking at the party in a holistic sense now with the amount of candidates that is out there, and I was scrutinizing them, and I was saying, man, let me go on the beach like Ronnie Munker say, until I realized there is one difference, one big difference. A
Okay.
true, 100% blooded Bahamian man is running for the position of prime minister. I'll line up and listen to your response.
All right.
We can't address that.
Yeah, but that is a problem. That is a problem. That is a problem. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Seeing that we're wrapping up, I did hear those comments, right? But what I want to move on from, and it speaks to all that we're dealing with in terms of both major parties really operating in the shadows. They anyway, Professor, the IDB, I just want to remind us that recently there was a report analyzing the performance of the government. And out of 26 countries in the Caribbean and in Latin America, we came in number 17 in our performance in public affairs and the management of our public business and public money. Number 17 out of 26 countries. That's so far from number one. We at the bottom of the pile on how we manage public affairs.
Okay.
The score out of 100 was 38.5%. 38% out of 100.
Okay.
That's a failure anywhere you go. So that ought to not be dwelt upon. We need different. And everybody only has a few minutes to comment. So,
yeah, go ahead, Brother Cartwright.
You know, it's amazing. I see how the, I'll say the audience likes to label and pin. But
they like to do what?
Label and pin. And I would say this right now.
One group or one name or something.
Oh, okay.
If I decide to vote, I decide my vote. If it's there an independent candidate is the best candidate for my constituency, that's who I vote for. That's all I have to say.
Well, I would like to invite every woman out there. Do not do as Mr. Cartwright does. Identify yourself a block. As a block, vote for someone who represents your interest.
Well, that's what Article 24.1
yes,
says.
only yours, because it's not PLP, it's not FNM, it's about your children, it's about the future of your country.
Yes.
Ensure as women that we follow in line with those women who fought to ensure that we had the right to vote in the first place.
Yes.
So get out there, don't be discouraged, get out there and vote as relates to what you need as a block.
What about the character of people? Are we considering that?
Yeah, we do consider that.
Not much.
Have we been doing that?
Professor, almost every speech has mentioned integrity. Almost every speech. So we're talking it. We're talking about honesty.
But
and
okay,
integrity.
that may be so, and I'm not disputing that. But the point is, do we see it in action? See, I look at the record. See, there's nothing those two parties could tell me anything. Because I've seen it all along for 52 years plus. What the heck could they tell me now that they haven't told me before? That doesn't make any sense. So we have to look at these things and come to understand that we have some real problems going into this election. And so we have to move. See, that's why we have the Holy Bible, where God gives you some clear-cut instructions. He doesn't tell you if the people ain't righteous, what you can have. You have wicked people. You want wicked people to run this country? It says when the righteous in authority, the people rejoice. Do you see any rejoicing in this place? Where do you see it in Baintown? Where do you see it in Centerville? Where do you see it in Fox Hill? With all the troubles we have in this country, we've got to find the right people to run our constituency affairs and our national affairs. I can deal with that more on Monday. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. Have a pleasant weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.